Hi guys, I'm Kelly and this is my Flosstube account, Kelly Ellie Stitches, where I talk about all my things cross stitch and also Stitching Sunday when it's running. That's just something I run here in Adelaide, South Australia for cross stitch. I organise group events where we get together and cross stitch for the whole day, so that's really fun. I'm here to talk about my progress for mid-January to now. My last Flosstube was mid-Jan, so it's been about 4 weeks. I did mean to do this the other day, but it didn't happen, and so yeah, it's Monday the 16th of February and we're doing it now. So welcome, thank you for coming along, and we'll talk about what I've been working on and what I've been doing, and we'll go from there. First up, it's been a busy month, busy 4 weeks. Gertrude started school the other week, so this is her 3rd week. She's on day 11 of school. She's settled in really, really well, and I can't believe I've got a schoolgirl now. It seems like only yesterday she was just a baby and worrying about nap times and starting solids and all that sort of stuff, and now we're worrying about uniforms and whether we've got enough and packing lunch boxes and all the rest of that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, it's been an adjustment for her, but we'll get there. She's loving school. She's got so much on every day, and she's made new friends, and yeah, no, she's having a good time. So that's mainly what we've been doing. Can't think of anything else. I know our weekends are usually jam-packed, so it's usually one thing after another. But we'll hop into cross stitch. So I've got 3 finishes. 3. So we'll talk about them, and then we'll go through the 8 projects, and we'll go through my epiphany, and yeah, and what else I've been working on. Oh, I didn't grab my sock. Oh well, doesn't matter, next time. So we'll start with the finishes. First up, we have my caterpillar cross stitch temperature along. Where can I get it so there's no glare? About here. So this is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and each star is a day and each colour is a temperature. The stars that are outlined are the start of the month, just so I knew where it was. I also lost a week in there somewhere, so I've just put a rainbow down the bottom. It's stitched on 18 count opal 2/1 full cross with, I guess they're called 4 DMC, but I did adjust the temperature stitch, and then I added in the Witchy Stitches Nostalgic Tarot's border, and also got an idea of putting the year up the top from a different pattern on Etsy. So last year, you can see it was quite mild. There wasn't too many hot days up here in summer. Winter was very samey. It was a lot of purple. But yeah, so I've got that finished. I'm glad I've got it finished. I framed it myself using Adelaide Stitches tutorial, so that was really good. Took me about 3 goes to get it relatively straight in the frame. It's still not quite straight, but for me it's good enough. I did hang it on the wall, but overnight it fell down. I don't think I followed the directions quite well for the sticky stuff on the wall, and if you know me, most of the time I'm about just getting stuff done and not following directions, so I didn't hold it in place long enough, I don't think. Yeah, so I'll have to either rehang it or just get a nail and shove it in the wall and call it done, and do it when hubby isn't around so he can't see me do it. And just get it hung back up. So yeah, first finish. Second finish is the Strength card by Witchy Stitcher. These are all my props. So this is Strength by the Witchy Stitcher. It's part of a Nostalgic Tarot stitch along. I started this last year in the hope that it would scratch the itch to, I'll leave this up there while I talk, scratch the itch to stop me from starting the whole Nostalgic Tarot. So I started it, and I had about 2,500 stitches left to finish on it, and I did that last month in January. And it didn't actually stop me from starting the whole nostalgic tarot. So I did start that last year, but then recently I've decided that just starting it was enough to scratch the let's start this itch. So I've now gifted that on to someone else. So I won't be stitching the whole thing. I may stitch the star as a separate standalone, and that may come later this year or not. For this one, it's finished. I'm going to frame it in a 6x4 or a 5x7 frame and do it the same as the temperature along, and Gertrude's already claimed that, so that will go either on her cross stitch wall that we have here in the lounge, or I'm not sure where else it will go, but yeah, it will go somewhere, but it will go in a frame. So yeah, finish number 2. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll with finishing things. Next up is Bluey, which is a chart from Etsy. I changed the Nostalgic Tarot was 2/1 18 count on grey Ada, with no other adjustments, so that was good. Bluey is all finished. Yay! I changed the rainbow to be a rainbow. Had about 300 stitches to go in November. It was ridiculous. I'd stitched so much in January, and then I just couldn't get the last 300 stitches in, so I finished that off this month. It's on 18 count lilac cloud lilac by Sew It All Australia, with a code for DMC floss, and the words are in blacker toil, and can't see the sparkle. I was going to frame this myself, but I'm thinking I might take it to my local framer and get them to frame it and do a good job, because I do love this one. I have an idea that I'll stick this in Gertrude's room, but we'll see. Might end up on her cross stitch wall here in the lounge instead. So that's finished 3 for the year. I do have 2 more finishes planned for 2026, part of my let's just get shit done. And yeah, the next one that I want to finish is the Fox and Rabbit 2017 sampler. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. I didn't remember to take progress photos at the end of January, so I'll just put up a progress photo of where it was last time we saw it. Well, the last progress photo I have, I think that was Gertrude standing on the couch taking at the end of December. I went, oh, I'll get Daddy to help me take these photos. She said, no, Mama, I can help you. I do a good job. I help. All right then. Okay. How can you say no? So, sitting back, this, no, oh, there we go. This is where it's at now. I've nearly finished. I can't move it. This page, that page, you can see clearly where there's a page. It's only taken me 9 years, but we nearly have a full page finished there. And then I'm going to work on, I think I'm going to work on the pages up, or I might try and finish it row by row motif, but I'm not sure. But I'm getting good progress on it. I think I've stitched about 1800. Oh, hang on, look at my notes. In January, I stitched 771 stitches on it, and in February so far, I've stitched 1840. My current plan is to use my hyperfocus for good, and that instead of stitching 1,000 stitches in 6 different projects every month, I'm going to try and do 4,000 to 5,000 stitches on each project to get to the yearly goal with each project, and then I'll switch them out as I reach the goals. So when I started this, I had 10,800 left to go, so I thought possibly I could finish it up by the end of March, but I'm thinking maybe 4,000 is about as much as I'm going to get as a focus in a month, so that will take me to mid-April, but still it will be finished, and that is the goal. After that, it's my 2023 Peppermint Purple stitch along that I want to finish. Yeah, and that's the rest of my plan finishes for 2026, so I'll be very excited to reach that. And yeah, so that's that goal. Then I've been struggling to work on how to work on my projects, and I think I've finally found a routine. So what we're going to do, because I'm a bronze member of Peppermint Purple, I get the weekly feels dropped on a Monday, and it drops just around 7:30 for me here in Adelaide, which is awesome because that's just after bedtime. So I think what we're going to do, lunchtimes when I'm at work are always going to be the 2017 linen and thread, just to get that done. Monday nights will be Peppermint Purple, Monday Peppermint Purple, stitch along. So I started it twice. One was the one that I really wanted to do, which was the center stage one with copy and stuff. But I was finding it was taking a lot of time to keep two up to date, obviously. So I've decided to only do one, and I'll keep the other one that I started, and I'll look at maybe doing that next year instead, and just keep all the feels. So this is the one I've kept to work on, and I love it because it's got all the little individual borders, and it completes a lot quicker and faster than what it does when it's a big one with the big border around it. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. In January, I'm counting an hour. See, it's mainly black work, and I like counting my stitches. So what I've decided to do is that for every hour, because I can stitch approximately 100 stitches in an hour, I've decided that if I stitch an hour on Peppermint Purple, then that hour equals to 100 stitches. So I can still track my stitches and my time in a ish way. So in January I spent 5.5 hours on this, and then in February so far I've spent 5 hours, 500 stitches. So what that means is I've got all of January finished. Whoop. And then I finished the border for February. Can't see what I'm doing. Sorry guys, I'm making me sissy. So I finished all the border for February and the 2 fills, and today is Monday, so we'll get the next fill here. And I would like to go ahead and do more borders, but I also know I can't count. I can't even count to 10. It's ridiculous. I get bored. My mind wanders off and la la la. And then, you know, 5 years later we come to having to fill it in and we're off. So it doesn't work. So I know that about myself. So when I finish the February ones and get the first March fill in, I'll start the March border here. I've also kept the colour range the same as the other one that I'm doing. So I think this one had the same colours but in a different sequence, but I've kept the same sequence as the other one, so they'll kind of match when I eventually finish them. So that's Peppermint Purple Monday. And then we're going to go into Temperature Tuesday. I saw this pattern on Etsy, no, Instagram, and then I chased them down on Etsy. Her name, pretty sure it's Alice. I'm really bad with names. Foxy Tales AU is her Etsy store, and she's doing the averages. So this is what it's going to look like kind of when it's finished, except I'm in Australia, so I'm starting up here, and I've chosen a rainbow as my floss palette, and Alice and I went back and forth on a few of the colors, and we've come to a really good rainbow. I love it. So I've also paid extra so that Alice, instead of me trying to work out what the average is, 'cause I can easily do the highest temperature, but the average, I just didn't want to spend time on it, to be honest. So I'm paying her extra, and every month she sends me an updated pattern keeper file, and I import that, and off I go into the next one. And this is also why I stopped doing the second Peppermint Purple, because I wanted to get progress on this one, because I didn't plan on starting this one when I started the second Peppermint Purple. Anyway, so that's what it's going to look like. So far in January I did 240, hang hang on. Let's do this properly, shall we? Alright. So this is what it looks like. Excuse the part threads. This is what it looks like now. I took it to Stitching Sunday yesterday and worked on it a bit and filled in some of this bit down here. So while you're looking at that, Peppermint Purple is stitched on 18 count opal, 1 thread back stitch, and I'm doing the back stitch version. I'm not doing the cross stitch version. Okay, 2026 temperature along is also on this, is on 18 count glitter white by Sew It All Australia. I didn't have any of my 18 count opal on hand when I decided I wanted to start it right this very instant. I had this, so I started on this. I'm not sure if you can see the sheen. I think the glitter is sprayed on, so after I used it for the first time, I had like glitter all over my clothes. It was cute. Thankfully it wasn't my wet clothes, and yeah. But anyway, this is where it's at now. I have stitched so far 245 in January and 414 in February, plus I did another 200 or so stitches yesterday. Yeah, and this is on the averages, so I wouldn't expect to see too many reds, but there are some reds coming up. And also this one here is 321, which is one of my second highest reds, so you know when you see the reds that it's been a really hot day because it goes on the average, not the highest temperature. So I'm loving how that's looking. I can't wait to get up to date and get more done. But I think that's going to be the beauty of Temperature Tuesday, is that I'm actually going to keep up and stay up to date with it. And we're going in, I think, this direction, that direction, and then the center is going to be the year, obviously. So I'm loving that. Loving working on that. So that one, I'll keep that out because I'm going to show you something else. Then what else? Let me consult the list. Bluey, we talked about. Temper long strength, 12 months. I'm not going to show you the other Peppermint Purple because I didn't pull it out. I can't remember where I put it, and I'm not going to work on it, I don't think, for the rest of the year. So we're not going to discuss that. Next up is Elemental B, which is here. This is from Gecko Rouge. This was my birthday and Christmas present to myself. I love this. They've just released another one that is similar, like it goes in the same sort of theme with 2 Bs. And I'm definitely going to be getting that as well. I did PayPal in 4 on this one, so I need to wait for the PayPal in 4 to finish for this one before I can buy the next one. Yeah, so there's this one. Now when I purchased it, I bought it so that it was 25 count 2/1, but I've actually changed the fabric to be 18 count. I'm hoping that I'll have enough floss to do that, considering I'm changing it, but I wanted it to be bigger, but I didn't want to pay for the extra because I have my own floss, which is a stupid thing to say considering they give you all the floss, but you know what I mean. Like, if you're a cross stitcher, you've got your main set, you've got your fabric, and I really prefer just the pattern, but they don't sell it that way, so I went with the most cost-effective version for myself. Yeah, so this is where it's at now. I'm not sure if I've got a before photo. If I do, I'll put it in. It's quite a small one. I can't remember how many stitches it is. I'll put it all down the bottom. I don't have a rotation as such for this one. I just pull it out when I feel like working on it. I think I will be taking it along to Stitching Sundays this year, just as something to work along with some other 18 count projects. I love it, except there is quite a bit of confetti and there's only 62 colours, but the confetti is mainly around like the change of petals and that sort of thing. So I guess I could just choose a big block of colour and work on that and be content, but then I also get bored working with lots of colour, so I can't really win. But there you go. So I did 206 stitches on this in January, and so far 295 stitches in February, with I think I did an extra 100 yesterday. So it's coming along quite well. I'm loving how it's looking, especially on the 18 count. I really look forward to working on that more and seeing if I can fit it into a rotation at some point. But I have other plans once I finish other things, so yeah, we'll see how that one comes along during the year. And onto the floor it goes. And then next up, so Stitching Noni is doing Flamingo Friday. This is a Stitch Is So Beautiful pattern by Etta Jose Rosa. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I did love this when it first came out, and I thought about doing it, but then I wasn't sure how it's going to stitch up. Stitching Noni is doing it, and she started top down, and it looks amazing, and I really want to stitch it. And so it's on my planned list of things to start at some point. And on Friday, because I now have Fridays free because Gertrude's at school and I don't have to work, so it's wonderful. I've only had 2 free Fridays, and they haven't really gone as planned, but that's okay. And the next 2 aren't going to go as planned either, but that's okay as well. So anyway, Friday, I was sitting there and I was thinking, it's Friday, what am I going to work on? You know, maybe because I've got the fabric for it. It's a planned start. I've got the fabric, I've got the floss cards out. I just have to pull the floss for it. I thought perhaps I'll take it on Sunday to Stitching Sunday. You know, this is all 939 down here, so it wouldn't be that hard to do. And then I was looking at, because I use Notion for all my projects and all my whips and that, so that I know where I'm at numbers wise and percentage wise and all that sort of stuff. And I was looking at it and I was like, Kelly, you have a lot of projects that you want to finish. And, you know, I also had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you guys do this. I do sometimes. I'm driving home thinking, or in the kitchen doing dishes and my brain's bored, and I'm going, hey Siri, what's 422 divided by 12? And 422 is 422,000 stitches for Waters in Nirvana. I'll put a picture of it up here because I didn't pull it out. And 12 is 12,000 for 1,000 a month that I want to do this year for it. So 12,000 stitches. And Siri, I was horrified. Siri came back with an answer, I think, of 30 or 40. I could ask her now, but that'd be annoying for you guys as viewers, so I won't. And I'm like, it's going to take me 30 or 40 years to finish this project at 1,000 stitches a month. And I'm like, whoa. So I was completely mind blown. I knew these things took time. Like, don't get me wrong, I know things took time, and I know that I also think things will take quicker than what they will. I'm aware of my faults. And I was just completely mind blown that it will take me 30 to 40 years to finish this huge project. So I have a joke. My old boss has been at my works for 25 years. I reached 10 years this year, and I'm 40 odd, closer to 50, but we don't talk about that because I don't want to know. My joke is that in another 15 years, I'll also be at work for 25 years, and I'm going to retire. You know, I'm going to hit 25 years. That's it. I'm going to retire. So I said to Siri, I said, okay, well, let's go the other way. Let's say I've got 422,000 stitches. 15, divided by 15. Tell me how many stitches I need to do a year to have this finished in 15 years when I retire. Siri tells me it's 30,000. 30,000 stitches a year for 15 years. Like, wow. You know, like I'm here sitting going, oh my God, I've got a 5-year-old daughter and I've been married for 5 years. Like, I don't know what's more astonishing to me, like that I have the daughter or I'm married for 5 years. And Siri's telling me that I have to do so many stitches for so many years to finish this project. I'm like, okay then. So I'm sitting here on Friday going, yeah, let's start Flamingo so that we can join Stitching Noni and do Flamingo Friday. And I'm like, well, you've got a lot of projects. You've got that huge project that you're not currently working on, although you do have a plan for 2026. So how about you don't start Flamingo? You know, let's go, yeah, because I'm missing my Stitches So Beautiful community, and I have 4, I think, started. 3 started plus this one maybe, or 4 already started, 5 plus this one. Anyway, I've got a lot, and I'm like, well, how about we work on one of the other ones? And obviously I can't touch Enchanted Place, because even though I love it and you guys like seeing the progress, if I pick it up I can't put it down and nothing else gets done, so we can't touch that one. So that one was out. So then we had Boreal Colours and we had Sailing. And Sailing is a good one because it's 18 count. It's also on the grey fabric. But I thought perhaps we should work on something at home that is smaller. And so I'm going to call it Stitches So Beautiful Saturday or Sunday, or both, because generally I don't want to work on what I have to work on the weekend if I pick something else up. So we're going to call it Fuck It. No, I'm sorry, I swore. I'm not sure if I can swear on YouTube. So we're going to call it Duck It Friday and lean it into Stitches So Beautiful Saturday or Sunday. So I picked up Gertrude in the end. Gertrude came out last year and I loved her when she came out. She's a very small one, only 100 by 300. And I finished the bottom block last year of 10, and then I put it away. Sorry, we have park threads galore. It's a mess. I've been working on getting the park threads out. So you can see I finished that block here. So I pulled Gertrude out, and it's only 30,000 stitches, so it's probably not going to get finished this year, but I'll work on it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just one of those days for Duck It Friday or Stitches So Beautiful Saturday. So we'll have Monday is Peppermint Purple, Tuesday is Temperature Tuesday, Saturday is Stitches So Beautiful Saturday. And this is stitched on 25 count, 1/1 cooled 4 floss, and yeah, it's only 300 high, so it's not going to be that big. Yeah. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish stitching in all the part threads and then just fill it block by block and go up, and try and avoid having so many part threads in the future. And just carry them up as I can, because I like packing threads because I get to other bits quicker, but then when I come back and see all these pack threads, I don't like it, because then I have to work out where I'm at. Anyway, so they're my plans. There's my epiphanies, and but yeah, I still have ones I want to start. Crazy. Anyway, so there we go. So that's all I've been working on. Yesterday we had Stitching Sunday for the first one of 2026. So that was really awesome. It was at Crown Plaza here in Wilson Lakes, and it was our first one at Crown Plaza, and oh, it was so good. I didn't have to go in an hour early to move around all the tables and set up and stress over where everyone was sitting. Tables were all set up. There's water on the tables, there were minties on the tables. I had trestles around, so I didn't take many photos, so I can't put them up. So I had one wall was where we're selling stuff, so we've got project bags from Cozy Little Props. I had fabric and nerd shoots from Lisa from Paddock Lane Designs, and then we got a 3D printer for Christmas as a family gift, and I have been using that non-stop with all my stitchy stuff. Hubby is like, well, can I have a go? I'm like, nope. It's my 3D printer now. So I've had that going pretty much 24/7 in the last week or so, getting everything up to date and putting things through. I made plus cards and bobbins and floss drops and some bobbin boxes, all the gnomes up the back. Hubby's like, we don't need an army of gnomes. I'm like, yes we do. Of course we do. you know, who doesn't love a gnome? So I put them in the table as center decorations. That were cute. But yeah, we had a good turnout. Everyone enjoyed the new spot. Parking is not as convenient as the other place, but it is there. I will be talking to Crown this week to see if I can get a better deal on parking. But no, I mean, the light was amazing. It was just pure natural light, and not many people were using their lamps, and it was a good space to spread out in, and yeah, no, everyone had an amazing time, and I had a good time, and I even got some stitching in, so that was really great. Yeah, I can't remember. The next one up is April, and then we'll have the retreat, and then it will be monthly from July to November. And our table was talking about, I can't remember how it came up, but I did mention how the yarn trader sometimes hires out the Odeon Star down at Semaphore and does a movie. The last one they did was Wicked, and they sit a lot, take their knit along and knit. And I'm like, oh, maybe we could do that. So I put the idea to the group. I'm like, look, I'll organise it if you guys will come. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So I've got an email in to them, and I'll find out more information, and I'll put that on the socials and the website when I do get that up and running. I'm thinking July after the retreat, just to ease ourselves into the end of the year. And I'll just pick a Sunday, and then maybe we can organise to go for coffee or something down at one of the cafes down the road, or have a bit of a hike down to Royal Copenhagen and have some of the good ice cream. Yeah, and hopefully it's not too blustery and rainy, so we can do that. So that was really exciting and heaps of fun, and you know, I really do love organising things. Coming up in 4 months is a retreat, so I've been busy organising the goodie bags and doing things. I've got 50 now, with 3 on the waiting list, so that's really exciting. And so whenever I do anything for the goodie bags, it's times 50. So yeah, oh, that's only $1. I could put that in the goodie bag, then go, well, times 50, it's $50. Like, maybe not. So yeah, you do name badges, and you sit there, and you're like, yeah, this is fun. And you get to about 30, and you're like, oh, I still have another 20 to go. But you're like, just keep going, just keep moving. So that's really exciting. That's coming together. Very excited about that. I've got the package that we organised through Crown. I organised through Crown, so I've got the room and the buffet breakfast the next day, so that's $189. I was nosy and checked out the buffet breakfast yesterday while I was there, and it is amazing. There's so much food and so much variety, and they had little pots with yogurt and granola on top, which looked amazing. And yeah, no, it looks really good. And I think you can go there I think it's on Saturday and Sunday, any weekend to do it. It's something they put on for everyone, so that looked really good, and there was a lot of people taking advantage of that. A lot of the guests taking advantage of that. What else? Where's my list gone? Oh yeah, so it's Friday. So I was responsible on Friday, wasn't I? I didn't start a new project. Good girl. I worked on something I'd already started. And then the fridge. My fridge has been annoying me. We tend to rest things at the back of the fridge, and then they stick like paper, and it just looks grotty. I'm like, right, I've got time. I'm going to clean the fridge. So I started from the bottom, and I got about halfway up, and it's looking amazing. You know, I took stuff off the shelves, I cleaned the shelves, I cleaned the back of the fridge. I got halfway through, and I went, I did it wrong. I should have gone top down, not bottom up. And by that point, I was over it. This is why I need someone here when I do stuff like this, so that I can keep going. So by that time I was over it, so I packed it all back up and shut the door and went back to sit on the couch and cross stitch until family came home, and I could forget about how I was trying to clean the fridge. So I'm not sure what's happening to me. Like, I'm being very responsible. I've also decided that with the scraps from my sock yarn leftovers and that, I'm going to start knitting coat hangers, because let me go get some. So while I was gone, I also went and picked up my sock. I didn't quite finish the full sock last month, but I did most of it. I tried it on at Grandma's when I was there on the weekend, and I'm just about to start the toe. So one sock's nearly finished, so that's good. And then I'll start the second sock. You know, one a month would be good, but not one a month, that's fine. I'll, yeah, you know, I'm happy with any progress. Anyway, so that's sock. So coat hangers. So I'm going to start knitting my sock stuff, my sock, or even my 4-ply. I really want to get rid of some of my 4-ply leftovers. I don't know what else to do. My grandma is amazing. She's 97, 98 this year. Born in 1928, 1929, whatever that is. Anyway, she's simply amazing. She's so crafty, and she's like Nancy, or Nancy's like her, and you know, she can do anything. She used to knit clothes for a living. She used to sew things, and anyway, so she makes me, well, not anymore because her hands hurt too much, which is sad, because, you know, it'd be sad to be. Anyway, so she makes these. Last couple of years ago, she made some coat hangers for Gertrude. So they're the plain woolen ones, and then she gets the lace. So she's not able to make any more, and I want to get rid of my scraps. So I'm going to start with the sock yarn scraps. I'm going to start knitting coat hangers. So I feel like I'm, I don't know, getting more creative, getting old. I'm cleaning the fridge, I'm knitting coat hangers. But that's okay. I think that's okay. Because, you know, your tastes evolve as you grow, don't they? Anyway, that's what I'm up to, non-cross stitching. The other thing I've been 3D printing is these little boxes. They're really cute. I had to go out and buy more colours so I could have one in every colour. So I made zipper pulls for the last Stitching Sunday, and I just put them all in here, and yeah, they're really good. I'm not sure. I did make them because theoretically you can cross stitch that. It's 15 by 15, but I'm not quite sure what you would stitch on it, but they're cute. I like them. Come in bigger and smaller sizes, but yeah, something else I've been doing. So the other thing I thought I would do today is, let me just check the list. You know, I know everyone's got their own way of doing things, but I just thought as a little bit of an extra, I'd show you how I pack things up. My master set of floss is on the floss hangers by Pip and Chip. I don't have them out. I could bring them next time. Should have kept them out. I love having them on the hangers because you can just slide them through the box and see what's there. I did have them in old school 1980s Lorraine project folders. I do like those project folders, and I do have a crazy idea of having 2 sets of floss, DMC floss, just so, you know, if I wanted to kit something up at Stitching Sunday, I could just take my second set with me, and it's just more portable than the box. Anyway, so when I kit up a project, I either get one of my beautiful bags made by Nancy, or I get these A4 bags from Amazon. So they get a project bag each. Each project has a project bag. So I think I've got about 30 projects right now. Oops. I then print off what it's going to look like and laminate it. Quite often when I'm at work or sitting out in a cafe or whatever, or even at Stitching Sunday, people are like, what's this going to look like when it's done? So instead of mucking around with Pattern Keeper, I'll print out the photo. But also when you've got 30 bags in a box, you can just sort of pull it out and look at because it shows up quite well through the plastic, so that's really good. Then I put in a thread bed. These are something Nancy and I have started making. I looked at them online and I went, oh, they can't be that hard, and so I sort of bodged one up. And then, you know, Nancy took that over and did an amazing job, and she does it so much better, whereas I just go and get it done. So my corners aren't great and that, but it still works. Whereas, you know, Nancy will do it right, and she's, excuse the floss, you know, she's made it so that the corner's good. And she did try, because I said to her, well, what about if we put felt and then we could put needles in there? So we tried that, but that was more fiddly. And also I found when I put a needle in there and I closed it, the needle went through and I stabbed myself a few times. So I don't do that now, and we don't. And it's, you know, if Nancy's making these for me, I want it to be quick and easy for her. I don't want to create more work, so we don't do it with them anymore. Or with the Flosstube. I thought that would be good, but I tend not to empty my my thread beds often. So quite often I've got like a huge rat's nest of floss sitting there. I usually empty it at work because the bin's right there and I don't have to, yeah, a bit lazy. Anyway, so in the project bag, we've got the project bag, we've got the thread bed, and then I kit up the thread. So I've been printing out project cards on my 3D printer, and I got these stickers from AliExpress, and these have got 30 holes, which I love, because if I'm doing, Stitch is So Beautiful likes to do a lot of colours per project. So I can't remember what Gertrude had, but I think it's 125 or something, and then I know Enchanted is 157. So previously my project cards had only had 20 holes on one side, so I can't do math in my head, I need a lot. And Heaven and Earth, they usually have about 90. So Heaven and Earth, I only need 3 cards, and it just makes it so much easier. And the project bags are so much thinner because they don't have that bulk of the thread. Anyway, so I put the sticker on, I go to Pattern Keeper, I put it in number order, write it down, and then I go to my main set. And previously I used to kit up each project with all the floss that I ever needed. So if it had 40,000 black stitches, I'd kit up 10 skeins of floss, you know, stuff like that. Whereas now I don't do that. I've changed in the last 18 months to a year. And what I do is I go to my main set and I just pull out 3 or 4 loops. All my thread is pre-cut. I used to wind it on one of those winding tools, but then I was watching In Stitches with Ebony, and she was setting up her main thread set, and all she did was she just unwound it from the skein, and then maybe I'll do that next time. She unwound it from the skein and just kept on doubling it until it got to the right length. If you're doing a loop start on 18 count, you keep it a bit longer, like you don't cut it as short, you go 1 less. I did do that, but then the thread was tangling really badly in my project bag, so I've just gone back to having it shorter. If I feel like doing, like if I've only got, I'm really bad with Enchanted, if I've got a whole heap of confetti and only 1 stitch, I'll just do a loop start with one of the threads, so that's 2, and then I'll just cut it off and throw it out, which is really wasteful, but that's how I get through Enchanted. I don't like putting the floss back. With Gecko Rouge, because I'm limited in the floss that I've got, I'm not being wasteful at all. If I've got floss left over, I'm not doing loop starts. If I've got floss back over, I'm putting it back on the floss card. Anyway, so each project gets 3 to 4 lengths of thread, and it gets put on the floss card. So yeah, I think they're about 50 centimeters long. I'm not sure, I haven't measured, but I'm making a mess. That's what happens. Then obviously you get your fabric, and I don't have an overlocker, but my beautiful friend Nancy does. So I go to Nancy's house, or I give it to her and I say, pretty please, can you search my fabric for me? So it gets its spa day. You then get a needle, obviously, in the pack. I find one of my needle minders from somewhere and I put that with it, and then I stitch not in hand, but I stitch with a hoop. I have tried Q-snaps, but my hands are quite small, and I can't hold the Q-snap that long. I do have a Lowry. I don't use it because it bugs me, because I've been stitching in a hoop for so long in hand. I do need to learn how to use a Lowry so that I haven't wasted that money. But yeah, so these are I can't remember how big this is. I think it's 15 centimeters. For the 18 count projects, I do like the bigger hoop. Oh, I've got one over here. Just because you get more real estate on the hoops, so you can see the difference there. I get these, they're called the Sullivan's brand. I get them from Lincraft. My mum lives in Mount Gambier. She is very kind and goes to Lincraft for me whenever I feel like I need new hoops. And I like the pink ones because I was finding when I was getting the purple and the red ones, sometimes they'd leave a bit of the colour behind on the fabric. Not that you could really see it, but I could notice it. So now I like the pink ones because they don't leave that behind. Yeah, so Sullivan's brand from Lincraft, about $4 each. So each project bag that is currently in rotation, not each individual project, so I don't have 30 hoops, gets a project bag hoop. And then Nancy's been making me up little notions pouches, which are really cute. I didn't pull one out, but I've been using these little tins. So you can see the needle minder, which I usually stick on the top of the tin. They get a pair of scissors. And then for like temperature along and ones that have a lot of black or a lot of one colour, I've printed out some floss drops and then put that colour on the floss drop. So instead of taking up room on the card, which would be okay too, but this is a whole skein of floss. It's not 3 or 4 lengths, it's the whole skein, because I know I'm going to need that. I just find it makes it easier. And so yeah, that's what I keep in there. And then yeah, so whenever I'm at work, I'll just pick up the project bag I want to work on, stick it in my cross stitch bag, and take it to work or take it with me wherever I'm going. And I just pull the project bag out, and yeah, you know what's in it because you can see through it. With the ones that aren't see-through that Nancy has made for me, I have to remember which project is in what bag or open it up quickly and have a quick look. But that's no biggie. That's easy done. So yeah, that's how I kit up my projects. I do have a box in my room that has all the projects I'm not currently working on. So every so often I'll whiz through them. I'll go through my Notion list and remind myself of what else I've got going. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, I'm going to work through my oldest projects and get them done, except for the 2 that I'm probably never going to stitch on. Maybe next Flosstube I'll show you what those 2 are. And there might be a whip parade later in the year, maybe not. Or maybe at the end of every Flosstube, just to pad it out to an hour. I'll show you what I started in the year and what my plans are for finishing those ones. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. So yeah, that's all I have. I did take the floss cards and the floss drops to Stitching Sunday. I had them in a rainbow of colours, and I'm selling them. So I'm selling them for $2 each or 5 for 3. So if you're watching this and you're in Australia and you're interested, feel free to message me and I can work something out for you. And yeah, or even the floss drops or something else cross stitch related. I have a 3D printer. I'm happy to use it for good. And for the stitching community, yeah, I think they went well, and I love using them. They're one of my favourite things about 2026 so far, and all the new colour filament that I bought. I feel like I need to collect all the colours now. So I'm trying to stop myself because we don't need that many, and then you need to store it, and our house isn't that big, so I have trouble finding places for things. Anyway, so that's how I kit up my projects. So yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. I really do appreciate the love and support. And if you're in Australia or Adelaide, check out Stitching Sunday and see if that's something you'd like to do and come along with. We had, I know it is a bit daunting coming into a room full of people when you don't know anyone, but we are all very friendly and welcoming. Let me know down below in the comments what you're working on. I love to hear new ideas. I don't necessarily need to be encouraged to start new things, but you know, why not? One part of me is YOLO, the other part of me is like, you want to finish things, stop doing it. And you know, I've got a box full of whips I haven't touched, and I don't have that much room in the house, and I don't want to start a new box, so let's concentrate on finishing things. Anyway, and thank you for watching. I will leave you as you are. I will tidy up my mess and finish packing away Stitching Sunday and go to the post office and post Lisa back her fabric. And oh yeah, Sundays I usually do lunches and sort out the lunch boxes for Gertrude and I, and because I was away yesterday I couldn't do that, and there's a big pile of dishes, so I need to do mum life as well and hopefully sit down and stitch for an hour before they get home. And then we've got dancing tonight too, so oh, I can work on my toe and my coat hanger while I'm at dancing, watching Gertrude dance, so that'll be good. Have a good day everyone, have a good week, have a good February, and I will see you soon in March. Bye.